Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, the place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is Not Important, and I'm your host. Let's do it. Ripple gets in-principle nod for digital asset services in Singapore. The Great Accumulation of Bitcoin has begun, says Gemini Winklevoss. Valkyrie joins Rush with BTC spot ETF applications to go with its futures miners ETFs. And last but not least, Fed sees stablecoin as form of money. Well, yeah, wants robust role in its oversight, Powell says. Are you seeing the tide change? This is what we're talking about, guys. This was all orchestrated just to get you to sell your bags, to dump the price so they can get in and start controlling things. It's obvious. It's so obvious. All right, on to the market. Current market cap sitting at $1.141 trillion. Bitcoin dominance just ticking under that 50%, 49.4%. ETH dominance 19.3%. And Gwei moving up just a little bit. 19 Gwei will get you an ETH transaction. Currently, right now, Bitcoin sitting at 7.8% up on the day. 11.11. Make a wish on the 7-day. Ethereum at 5 and 4. 5 on the day, 4 on the week. Ethereum starting to follow Bitcoin as Bitcoin's starting to cool off. Down we go. XRP starting to wake up just a little bit, 2.23% on the day. Cardano saying, screw the world, we're going for it, 7.19% on the day. Outside of that, everything else is pretty much as it was yesterday. Litecoin moving. Yeah. Still green, guys. Bitcoin Cash 2020. Nuts, y'all. Completely nuts. Let's go ahead and move to the charts. There's not... everything is pretty much the same as it was yesterday. We're definitely moving in an upward trend right now. So green day, unless Bitcoin decides to freak out, and it looks like it's actually moving down right now as we speak. Let's take a look at it. Bitcoin 4 hour. So I think it was last week. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was last week or the beginning of this week. Bitcoin 4 hour, we had our descending wedge, which we were all looking at, which played out perfectly. But the determining factor on what we were going to do was right here. This mini wedge or flag, whatever you want to, could be a million different damn things, was the play to look at to tell you what we were going to do. And when it broke out, it went absolutely ham. Yesterday, I gave you guys this same triangle, same wedge, same flag, mini flag inside, at the top of that run, just at that crazy resistance level at 28.9. I gave you guys this setup, and when this thing broke out, it went ham again. So let's expand this a little bit so we can show you. Oh man, I hate this. Oh, Apple mouses. I don't know, or trackpads. I don't know why that happens. I apologize. Wasting your guys' time is not something I like to do. Back to the 1 hour. So, again, with this pattern right here and that resistance level at 28.9, we broke out and we ran for the sky. Again, we blew all the way through the purple box, which has been our crazy resistance level for quite some time at this level, or at this range, excuse me. The 20, we'll call it 29 to 30K range. It's been a nightmare in the past, but we blew right through it. Now, what we're doing right now is we're fighting that 30K level, right? There's a ton of people that are in profit right now, and you're going to see sell-offs. It's inevitable. People that were buying around 24, what did we get down to, 24.5 that last dip, and now have leverage trade themselves all the way up to, we wicked all the way up to almost 31K. We'll call it 30,800, somewhere in there. pulled back, and then try to do it again. I mean, I'm just gonna. I mean, you guys see what we did on the charts. I feel like I'm reading a story to you, but that you can't read yourself. But so here's what I'm looking at. 29.8 is looking like really good support, but the war is at 30K, right? So anytime we dip down, we bounce off of this 29.8 level, and we run up again. But what I'm seeing is 30K support, 30K support, 30K support, so on and so forth. And as we speak right now, again, we wicked back down to that 29.8, but 30K is where we get bought up from. So again, this is my assumption, and this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for entertainment purposes. I'm not even a good trader. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just looking at lines on a board, and I'm some weird dude in a room making YouTube videos talking to himself. Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people front running 30K as their base, as their point of control. So anytime this thing dips below 30K, you're having buy orders, tons of buy orders under this 30K level getting filled. And we're watching it happen right now as we speak. That's why you're getting these wicks. So people are hoping that it dips below 30K, and anytime it does, it is getting bought the F back up, especially with this right now. We've got 37 minutes left on that candle. Let's see what it looks like on a 30-minute real quick before we get out of here. Blood diamond. Let's see if it plays out. Could be bad, could be good. That wick might be a defining factor. But yeah, blood diamond. Has it printed fully yet? No, let's go to the 15. It has printed. So, if it's printed on the 15 and it's showing up to 30, I hope it doesn't cross over into the 1 hour. But if the 15 has played out, this is your blood diamond. This is that's a 15-minute blood diamond. That's what I would expect to see. Nice big pullback, but it's getting bought up, right? 7-minute. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Which, I know everyone says that. Go up and go down. But it's looking strong, guys. Like I said, that 29.8, somewhere in there, is looking at, like, really, really strong support. And it looks like the war's at 30. But it looks like people are trying to buy just under 30 while people are taking profits. This doesn't look too terrible, in my opinion. Right? I mean, even we're on the 7-minute. You had a trend breakout again. These smaller time frames, guys, like, a lot of people like down smaller time frames, but they will really tell you what the price action might be doing. Now, these won't be huge moves, but if you're looking at a bigger time frame, in my opinion, if you're looking at like a daily or a 12-hour or an 8-hour or a 4-hour, go into these smaller time frames to try and get an idea of what the price action is doing. Now, let me show you something. Here's our war right here on the 7-minute. We broke out, we broke back through into this trend line. So and look at that. We just got rejected from this trend line on the 7-minute. I want to see this break out of this trend line. This downward trend, this sloping trend. If we don't do that, we could be bouncing around here for a long time. But outside of that, guys, let's get back to the 1 hour so I can show you what I would be keeping my eye on before we get out of here. So, levels to pay attention to. You have a low volume node right here, okay? If we break this 29.8 and go down to 28.9. I'm an idiot. If we break this 29.8, because of this low volume node right here, we could potentially go back down and retest this 28.9. Hopefully it holds. If it doesn't, here's what people are calling for: a potential pullback down to 26.5-ish area, and then we're back off to the races. It could happen. Be prepared for it to happen. The reason why is because there's a lot of people in profit right now. and you'd be a fool to think that they're not going to take their profit. So, right now the war is 30. If we break down into this low volume node, your next level I'd be looking at is just 28.9. Outside of that, if we break lower, start looking for where's our next level of support and volume around this 26.9, 26.5. That's exactly what I told you, and this is why they're looking at this, to potentially go back and touch this 26.5 area and go back up. And I just knew people were saying it. I didn't even look at it, and now I get why people are saying that. It makes perfect fucking sense. All right, that's it. So I'm looking at, that's Bitcoin. Let's get on to the news and get you on your day, guys. Rock and roll time. Ripple gets in principal nod for digital asset services in Singapore. I'm telling you, whether or not XRP or quote unquote Ripple gets a favorable ruling in this case, it does not matter. It just means you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that price to move. They will move everything outside of the US and continue doing business. They don't care. The US is a small base of what they're trying to do worldwide. So, food for thought if you're holding XRP. Ripple says the in-principle approval will help scale its on-demand liquidity, the services it uses to source XRP liquidity to customers. Blockchain-based payments firm Ripple has obtained an in-principle regulatory approval from Singapore's financial regulator to offer digital asset payments and token products in the city-state. Ripple confirmed the approval from the Monetary Authority in Singapore, MAS, in a June 22nd statement. The approval will allow its subsidiary Ripple Market Asia Pacific to further scale its on-demand liquidity. The ODL helps Ripple's customers to move XRP around the world without the bank intervening as intermediaries. Can't be mad about that. The firm applies for the institutional payment license under Singapore's Payment Service Act. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse praised the Singaporean regulator for its pragmatic innovation-first approach to cryptocurrency-related services, adding that the country will provide a prominent gateway for Ripple's business operations in the Asian Pacific region. They will continue moving if the U.S. craps on them. They do not care. Let that sink in, y'all. Ripple's chief legal officer, Stu Alderati, also noted that Singapore's early leadership is paving the way for other regulators looking to develop a clear taxonomy. Is that like a tax economy? And licensing framework. There's Stewie talking about stuff. I'm an idiot, guys. I'm a complete idiot. I'll tell you. Alderati explained that the approval expands upon Ripple's customer reach. This in-principle regulatory approval from the MAS will enable us to better support our forward-thinking customers looking to hone in on blockchain and crypto technologies to build a more inclusive and borderless financial system. In 2022, Ripple managed to double the number of employees in its Asian Pacific headquarters as its Singapore base experienced a majority share of ODL transactions flowing through the city-state. The MAS released its own purpose-bound money white paper on June 21st, which proposed standards for fintech firms providing digital money services in Singapore. While Ripple's path to compliance with Singapore came without much in the way of legal barriers, this hasn't been the case elsewhere. We all know, and this is what Cointelegraph does, they always reiterate stories that we've read a million times, and I apologize, that's probably what this is. Ripple's legal team has had their hands tied with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission since December 2020 after the regulators sued them for allegedly offering XRP, the token that powers the XRP ledger, as an unregistered security. Yes, nothing new. Ruling is set to be made. A ruling is set to be made on the high-profile case in the coming months, according to Garlinghouse. On June 15th, Ripple partnered with Colombia's central bank, Banco de la República, to pilot a central bank digital currency on its XRP ledger. The firm has also partnered with central banks in Montenegro and Thailand, in addition to the many other regional banks and financial institutions around the world. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter. It'll be a small blow if they get a bad ruling. At this point, they've done everything behind the scenes. I wouldn't say behind the scenes, but they've done everything on the back end while fighting this case to continue scaling XRP. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So it's almost at a point that this SEC case is a stalemate. The only thing this SEC case actually has power to change right now is the current direction that crypto is going, in my opinion, in the US at least. If the XRP gets if XRP gets a bad ruling, like the ruling isn't in the favor of XRP, it could potentially really screw crypto in the United States. But that's about it. That's all. It ain't gonna mess up XRP, at least not in the long term. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. Moving on. The great accumulation of Bitcoin has begun, says Gemini's Winklevoss. With spot Bitcoin ETFs filings helping boost the price of Bitcoin, some suggest the window to front-run institutional demand is closing. I 100% agree, so I've been telling you all week. Get Bitcoin now. Anytime you sell Bitcoin, you are selling to these giant financial entities. Recently renewed optimism for an approved Bitcoin spot ETF traded fund is igniting the great accumulation race for Bitcoin, according to the industry pundits. Over the past week, Fidelity, Invesco, WisdomTree, and Valkyrie have followed investment giant BlackRock in applying for a Bitcoin spot ETF with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, which some analysts believe is the reason for Bitcoin's 19% price surge to $30,240 since June 16th. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of cryptocurrency exchange Gemini, stated on June 21st that he believes the great accumulation of Bitcoin has begun between institutions and retail investors. He suggested that buying Bitcoin prior to the ETFs hitting the public market is akin to a pre-initial public offering purchase, and suggested that the floodgates for buying Bitcoin are closing fast. MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor weighed in on the subject in his own post, suggesting that retail investors may soon be pushed aside by increasing institutional demand. The window to front-run institutional demand for Bitcoin is closing. Bitcoin is currently trading hands for $30,240, while crypto fear and greed index has skyrocketed from 49 neutral to 65 greed in just the last 2 days. In a June 21st interview with CNBC, Bitcoin investor Anthony Pompliano, God, get the words out of your mouth, said he expects a tug of war to play out between retail investors and Wall Street. We have institutions and individuals scrambling to try to get their share of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be in existence. The retail investor for 15 years now has a head start and has accumulated all the Bitcoin that's mined and put into circulation, but 68% of that hasn't moved in a year. People forget that Bitcoin went from zero to nearly $1 trillion market cap with almost no institutional participation, Pompliano said on a June 21st tweet. So when Wall Street and BlackRock show up to the market, Pompliano expects Bitcoin to become highly liquid because retailers don't want to sell to Wall Street, he added during the CNBC interview. We hope. Meanwhile, Dylan LeClaire, a Bitcoin analyst and founder for the 21st Paradigm, explained that Bitcoin's price is now extremely inelastic, more so than ever, amid the recent ETF filings, which are serving as a catalyst for large amounts of new flows into the market. However, LeClaire predicts that no ETF application will be approved by the SEC until January or February of 2024. So we got some time? Is that what you're saying? And there's a tweet. Oh, they just ended on that, huh? Right, well, that's it. Yeah, man. My goal is to stack as much Bitcoin as possible right now, for sure. Again, I have other bags that I'm trying to pump for monetary gain, but holding one Bitcoin from now until FU world, not a bad idea. Moving on. Valkyrie joins the rush with Bitcoin spot ETF applications to go with its futures miners ETFs. That is a tongue twister. Let me read that again, guys. I'm sorry. Valkyrie joins rush with BTC spot ETF application to go with its futures miners ETFs. Okay. The cryptocurrency fund manager is at least the fourth to seek a BTC spot ETF listing in the last week. Fidelity is rumored to be preparing to apply too, on top of their crypto exchange. Cryptocurrency fund manager Valkyrie is applying for a Bitcoin spot exchange traded fund, or better yet, an ETF. I wish they would just say ETF. I hate that they do that and then they acronym it at the end. It's so confusing while you're reading. Joining several other financial firms that have filed similar applications with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, they did it again, SEC, in the last week, Valkyrie filed an S1 registration form for a Bitcoin spot ETF with the SEC on June 21st. In it, the firm indicated that it would seek to list its fund on the NASDAQ under the symbol BRRR. Burr, guys. Let that sink in. What does the money printer do? It goes burr. You can't make this shit up. These guys are trying to screw us so hard, they don't even care. They're mocking us as they go along. This is unreal. You know what's funny about this? I had a buddy of mine send me this article or the application of this, a screenshot of the application of this yesterday, and I thought it was a joke. I literally thought this was like a meme because they were creating the ticker burr. And he goes, nah, bro, it's completely real. This is insane. Sorry, moving on. Valkyrie is an old hand at Bitcoin future ETFs. It launched the second BTC futures ETF in the US, the Valkyrie Bitcoin Strategy ETF, in October of 2021, and launched the Valkyrie Balance Sheet Opportunities VBB in December of that year. It liquidated VBB in October 2022. Valkyrie also runs the Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF. Oh my god. This is a joke. The WGMI. We're gonna make it. These guys are just, this is a joke. Which tracks security companies that derive their revenue or profits from BTC mining. Guys, these acronyms. Sorry, I'm floored. This is the screenshot that my buddy sent me yesterday. Sorry. On May 16th, the company submitted an application for a BTC futures ETF to be called the Valkyrie Bitcoin Futures Leverage Strategy ETF, BTFD. BTFD would be a fund rather than a trust, as is the case for the firm's proposed BTC spot ETF. Valkyrie was apparently inspired to take action by the recent activity on its competitors, or of its competitors. Valkyrie Investments Chief Investment Officer Stephen McClurg told Cointelegraph in a Hashing It Out podcast in March that he thought a BTC ETF would only be possible in a future administration after the next elections or through legislative action. However, BlackRock applied to list a BTC spot ETF on the NASDAQ as a trust on June 15th. WisdomTree and Invesco filed similar applications on June 20th. There are also unconfirmed reports that Fidelity will file for an application for a BTC spot ETF. Meanwhile, BTC is rising precipitously. I can't read, y'all. Up 6.41% at the time of writing. There you guys have it. WGMI and Burr. Jesus. Let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. Last but not least, and I'll get you on your way. Fed sees stablecoin as form of money, wants robust role in its oversight, Powell says. The Federal Reserve Chair gave his opinion on draft crypto legislation at the House Financial Services Committee's semi-annual Fed policy hearing. The United States Federal Reserve Board sees payment stablecoins as a form of money, Chair Jerome Powell said during questioning at the House of Representatives Financial Services Committee semi-annual hearing on Fed policy on June 21st. Powell's comments came in response to committee ranking member Maxine Waters, who asked for his reaction to the proposed stablecoin bill, which originated with the Republicans and would be the first crypto legislation in the U.S. if passed. Waters told Powell that the bill would create 58 different licenses with federal regulatory approval over only 2 of the licenses. The remaining licenses would be issued by states, territories, and other jurisdictions, which takes state preemption? What is that? Is that a typo? Is that a real word? To a whole new level, she said. Powell responded. We do see payment stablecoins as a form of money, and we believe that it would be appropriate to have quite a robust federal role in what happens in stablecoin going forward. Allowing a lot of private money creation at the state level would be a mistake, he added. By providing commentary on the draft bill, Powell took a position that runs contrary to that of Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler. Gensler spoke at a Senate Banking Committee hearing last year and said that stablecoins may require registration and regulation, and has repeatedly stated that all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin are securities, but still can't tell you if ETH is one or not. Dude's a joke. This whole thing is a joke in all reality, but moving on. Powell's position does not conform any better to Commodities Future Trading Commission CFTC Chair Royston Benham's claim that stablecoins will be determined to be a commodity. There's no easily accessible Fed definition of money, but it is commonly considered a means of exchange. Commodities are defined under U.S. law as goods and articles and all services, rights, and interests in which contracts for futures delivery are presently or in futures dealt in. The definition of a security is much more intricate. That was complicated. Anyway. Also, on June 21st, former CFTC Chair Chris, not going to try and pronounce it, Giancarlo? Sorry, I did it anyways. Weighed in on the bill in an editorial in The Hill. All licensing authorities would have the quote-unquote the discretion to coerce stablecoin protocols to deny services to lawful but politically disfavored businesses, he said. He called that fact a glaring omission that could enable a government policy similar to the Obama administration's Operation Choke Point. Giancarlo said, a simple fix to this problem is to provide that government licensing authorities have no discretion to pick and choose among otherwise lawful activities and conditions licensure on the stablecoin's denial of legal transactions. I don't know why I'm having such trouble reading this article. I'm messing this whole thing up, and I apologize. Otherwise, stablecoin transactions will be frighteningly beholden to the shifting political winds of Washington, Giancarlo said. Yeah, I see that. It's just interesting. I find it, I kind of have an issue with, especially after everything that's went down, after the banks and stuff like that, I kind of have an issue with the government telling me what I can and cannot use as money at this point. If I want to give my homie fucking, a couple of ETH for his car, I can do it. If I want to give him a couple, whatever stablecoin I choose and whatever stablecoin he chooses, I want to be able to do it. I don't want them to be able to say which ones are good. Like, that's the whole point of this. We're trying to just tell them to kick rocks. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not that smart. But per usual, let me know what you guys think about this article down in the comments if you want to. Outside of that, let's go to Bitcoin. We're back above 30. Keep your eye on this last candle, guys. We got 14 minutes before it closes on the 1 hour. What's it look like on the 30? Blood diamond printed. Let's see if we can get above this trend line. Hopefully this wasn't a mini fake out. Mini bull trap. But guys, that's all I've got for you today. Per usual, if you enjoyed the content I provide for you here every morning on Boring Crypto IO, please by all means subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, watch the videos, like the videos. Please help the channel and share these videos on your social platforms to make more awareness of the channel and create more awareness of crypto. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. I'm out of here.